Welcome to Double Down University. I'm back for another video on the prospects board, and today we are going to do college basketball. Yesterday was the first official day of college basketball, and it was really great. A lot of value on the board. But today, let's dive into some picks and things that I like so far, just looking at the board from afar. First, I would like to do Jared Bynum. I really like him. His points, his PRA, his fantasy, pretty much everything across the board. I think he will have a really good day or good night tonight because first of all, um, Providence are losing, if not all, but probably all of their starting five. And a big part is Bynum is going to have to step up because they lost their closer in Al Durham, and he's going to have to, fill in that scoring role. And outside of that, I don't really see too many people on their team that can, produce scoring wise. And he was a pretty good, 3-point shooter. Um, if we go and look at it, let me see. So, all right, so Jared Bynum, he shot last year. He shot 41% from three, so that's amazing. And as you can see, the leaps and bounds, which is crazy because you see in 2018, he's only made 34% of his threes. Then in 2020, he made 11% from three, which he must not have taken many threes to have that, percentage. But and then a huge jump, like a 30% jump in last year to 41%. And also, even better, especially if you want to go points, he's a really good free throw shooter, 75%. So out of every four shots, he make three shots if he was to get fouled twice. But that's just on average, anything can happen. I got burned last night by Kirk Christie. He missed a technical free throw to go over his 9.5 points, and they ended up taking him out because it was a blowout. It was a 30-point blowout. But long story short, I really like him across the board. I think everything gets a boost. His rebound, his assists. He could rebound the ball a little bit, as you can see. If you start to look, you see these rebounds. He's getting 5, 3, 5, and all of these is in good minutes. Like he's getting, against Villanova. That was an anomaly because he played 39 minutes. We don't see 39, 40, and a lot of these are tournament games too, though. So a lot of times you can kind of see some spike games in tournament time, like where they might get, like, look at this, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, and 25 points, and he played 37 minutes. Like, you're not really going to see that too much in the college basketball season. Because as you can see, yeah, you're not really going to see that much. See, look at this. He's playing against Kansas. He played 17 minutes. And this is in the tournament. He played 28 minutes, 25 minutes. So that's around, his average. About around 20 some minutes a game, 27, 25, high 20s. But yeah, I think he covers this line. I think, the 12.5 points is, is really good for him. I also read that for Bynum, they had a scrimmage, or I think they might have had an exhibition game before the season started against some small school, and in the last 20 minutes of the game, he just took over scoring wise and became more of a scorer than a facilitator. And they said earlier on in the scrimmage he had about 6 assists, couple rebounds, and so I think all of his props is pretty live right now. Let me see what his assist line is at. They actually have him for 4 assists, so I think that's really good too. But if you want to be safe and get that safety net of everything as far as like fantasy or PRA, that kind of encapsulates everything. The only thing with fantasy that scares me is turnovers. It's early in the year, they're starting to fill out. They got a whole new starting five, so that could be a little scary. And then, but he doesn't have too much stock potential, blocks and steals. So I would lean towards PRA or points. But to be honest, I think he covers everything. And a lot of time, one thing that I've noticed a lot last year, or no, not last year, last night, was that a lot of these small school teams that turn the ball over a lot. So it's a lot of steals and block opportunities for a lot of these big time players and stuff. So that can also be a boost for um, a player as well if they don't score or if they don't assist the ball as much as they should. That can make up because one steal is 3 fantasy points. So that's basically like you hitting a 3-point shot every time you steal or block the ball. Another player I like off of Providence is Bryce Hopkins. I love him. He played at Kentucky last year. He didn't really do too much because of all the talent that Kentucky brings in year in year out. So he was kind of an outcast. He didn't play many minutes, and I'll show you guys. Let me see. Bryce Hopkins. Here he is. So as you can see, his minutes is really, really low. Like, look at this. He's playing 1 to 5 minutes a game, which is not ideal. But when he does play, he does a little bit. But I throw all this stuff out the window. I've seen him play a little bit in spurts at Kentucky, so he's a capable. He can shoot a 3-ball a little bit. He can have some mid range. He's a 3-level scorer. He's a try hard, what I call a try hard, somebody that does everything, or they just one of those people that they might be down by 30 and they still out there just trying. So I really, really like his game. I honestly believe he's going to be one of the best players in the Big East this year, or one of the bigger names in the Big East this year. So yeah, I like him. I like him for points. I like his rebounds. Let me see if I can pull it up. I like his rebound too, as well as matter of fact, I like Crosswell's rebounds more so than Hopkins. I like Hopkins' scoring potential more than Crosswell, but Crosswell could be a play for PRA. I think his PRA is way too low at 16.5, but only if he starts though. If you check the lineup and he starts, I think he's a shoe-in for 16.5 PRA. Hopkins is kind of a little bit juiced because he's going to have to get those points in order for him to hit his PRA. He can't just do it off of rebounds alone because rebounds is 6. So, and they have him projected to get 12 points. So that's 18 right there. So he's going to have some assist in there to kind of cover that line. There's no wiggle room in there unless let's say he gets the extra rebounds to go over along with the points, or he may get 50. Let's say he get 15 and 15 and 6 or so, or so I like those from that game. So let me make my list. So I will go Bynum's PRA, get everything in there, a little safety blanket, and also, you can't get hurt, I should say, by him having turnovers and stuff. Let's go with Crosswell's PRA. He's actually, to be honest with you, Crosswell, he's an underrated passer in my opinion. I've seen him I'm a big Villanova fan, so I've watched, Providence and all these Big East teams. So I feel like I know them pretty well. Big Ten. Let's move to the Big Ten. Zach Edey. So throughout the day, man, I've seen Zach Edey, his rebounds constantly get bumped. Like, look at it. Like this morning, it was at 7.5. Now it's at 8.5. And we've seen this similar thing with last night with what's his name? I always call him Ernie from Sesame Street. Armando Bacot. So his rebounds was at I think his line started at 10 and it ended up at like 14 or something, like 14.5, because everybody was taking his rebounds all because of last year. Last year he was a rebounding wagon. Like anything below 15 rebounds, it's easy. That's a free space for him. So we might see the similar things with Edey. The only thing I'm scared about with Edey, like I feel like this is a matchup he should dominate. No question. Dominate 7-footer. You playing against a low level division competition. And I think he should dominate. But the only thing with Edey that scares me the most is his foul trouble. He sometimes he gets in a lot of foul trouble. And if you watch the tournament, you've seen, he gets in a lot of foul trouble just off of just stupid, dumb fouls, reaching in, or, or getting a blocking foul, things like that, where he may have to be forced to sit, early in the first half, which will kind of eat into his minutes and not, he won't have his full minutes potential to finally fulfill these stats and stuff. So I would be a little cautious with him. The thing I love the most about him is his stock potential, his blocks and steal potential, because um, he is facing a lower competition. I could see him easily getting like 3 or 4 blocks easily, and with like 15 points and like maybe 6, 7 rebounds. So that should put him over automatically. He's an underrated passer. He's a little passing in his game, but Purdue lost a lot of talent due to the draft. They lost Travion Williams. They've lost Jaden Ivey. They lost a lot of talent. So it's up to him and Mason Gillis to pick up the slack. I'm not a big Mason Gillis fan. He's okay, but he's going to step into a role where he's going to have to produce more too. So I kind of want to, before I take any props with him, I want to kind of wait and see. So I really, really like Edey's fantasy, or you can go straight, straight points. Like he should be able to get 16 points easily, at least, 10 points in one half, 6 in the other. But the blowout risk, it's a huge blowout risk. So the biggest thing I've learned last night is you want to pick players that are efficient and be able to get their work done early. So that way, come second half, most of the starters only have about a good 10 minutes. So around the 10-minute mark, they should take all their starters out and put all the backups in and let them get some run. So you want to take efficient players that, when they're out there on the court, they're not just out there. They're not just doing cardio. They're actually producing and putting up numbers. So I really, really like that. Or if you want to, let's say you think he's just going to have, let's say you think he's going to score 20 points and get 6 rebounds. You might as well just take his PRA, take the turnovers out of it, because he's pretty, you can go look at his numbers, but watch it from afar, I see he's pretty volatile. Like, look at this. Like, in the tournament, they figured him out. He had no personal fouls. I mean, no personal fouls, but he had 5 turnovers, 11 points, 1 block, and 2 rebounds. So like that's why I said the rebounds is kind of, he should be able to get it, but he gets a little lazy on the glass most games. Like, look at this against Michigan State: 25 points, 4 personal fouls, 3 turnovers, no steals, 2 blocks. Against Indiana, my bad. In the tournament, he had 4 blocks, 10 points, 11 rebounds. Like, that's his fantasy right there already. 10, 11, and 4. Like, and then he only had 1 personal foul and no turnovers. Like, that's a beautiful sight. So his block potential is ridiculous. Like, look at this. He's almost averaging like close to a block a game for the most part. So I really, really like his fantasy or his overall points. And biggest thing is if he stays out of foul trouble, he should be dominant. Just hope that he doesn't pick up 2 cheap, silly fouls in the first half where he has to sit for a while. Because one thing about Purdue's coach, he will let him sit for a while if he picks up those 2 fouls. But the difference between last year and this year is his coach doesn't have the benefit of letting him sit for long, because he doesn't have the luxury of Travion Williams as his backup, who can really start for most teams in the country last year, but he was in a backup reserve role and backed up Edey in case he got in foul trouble. So that's one thing to kind of watch, as the season goes along, how the coach's rotations is once Edey gets in foul trouble, because then that could also mean, more minutes and more rebound opportunities for Giles. So yeah, so those are my 3 for today so far. Matter of fact, I'm going to throw in Hopkins in there because Bynum can't do all the scoring by himself. So somebody's gonna have to step up, and I think Hopkins will get 3. All it takes is 3 shots a half. Should be able to. They don't have any all defensive players on Ryder, so I like those 2. Another thing I've noticed too, and I'll kind of wrap it up after this, but one thing I've noticed is that so far early on in the year, if you see anybody that's like a top recruit in the country and you see them on the board, like last night they had Amari Bailey on the board, they had Keontae George from Baylor, they had Flip, I can't think of his first name, but the tall 7-footer from Duke, Flipowski, I think his name is, or just any of the young, you know, recruiting class or recruits, if you see any of them and you think that they can have a big game, because prospects, they don't really have a good barometer or a baseline to kind of grade these guys and try to figure out what's a good range to put these guys in as far as points wise or PRA if they fill up the stat sheets, so they don't have a range for them yet. So the lines will be super, super low at the beginning of the year, like these first couple games, and then they'll kind of set the lines to where they should be at. So you're getting a discount these first couple days on a lot of these freshman players. So I just keep that in mind too. But that's it for me today. I didn't really get a chance to look into any of these later games, and as you can see, like they haven't released a lot of props for any of these, middle games, like in between. One off the bat, I like just looking at is Brandon Murray from Georgetown. I like his points. I will add that one to it too. I really, really like his points. This guy right here. So, as I said earlier, I'm a big Big East guy. This guy is a beast. I don't know how to say his name, but just know he's a beast. One thing that worries me about him is foul trouble, but he has a lot of stock potential. Blocks, steals, a lot of potential there. He reminds me of trying to think of what's a good comparison to him. Like a Mitchell Robinson type, I would say. Mitchell Robinson, yeah. Because he can score it a little bit, but he's not really a scorer. But most of his stuff comes off of rebounds, blocks, I wouldn't say steals too much, but blocks, And then they're playing, like I said earlier, they're playing a low division, low level, competition. So, you can see he might get a couple steals off of just somebody being out of control in the lane and, loose ball, swipe at it, So I see potential with that. His fantasy score is pretty low to me. But as I said, be cautious because of blowouts. A lot of these games are 25 and up point spread. So they have them winning by 30 or, 26 or more. So another dude that I see is Sam Sessions. So he used to be a Penn State player. So I watched him a lot. He's a pretty good shooter. I wonder what his points line is at. His points is sitting at, let's see, Sam Sessions, where you at? Here he is, 15. That's doable, and then also too, like he's a chucker, so he's going to shoot. You want players that chuck shots that just come down and they just give you volume shooting, because if you pick a player that only shoots the ball 8-9 times, he has to be super, super efficient. And I think that line is pretty good. I like this guy right here as well, Gregory G.G. Jackson. I really, really like his potential today. So there's a lot of value on the board. So so far I have Bynum's PRA, Crosswell's PRA, Edie's fantasy, Bryce Hopkins points, and Brandon Murray's points. So those are my picks for today. As well as you could throw in Gregory G.G. Jackson, or you can throw in Sam Sessions points, PRA, whatever you want to do with those two. But yeah, that's it for today. I appreciate you guys watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.